Welcome to Shock to the Series. As keeper of this island, I hereby exercise my prerogative of correctional displacation. Prerogative of correctional what? Allow me to rephrase. I will exercise my authority to terminate your program. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 11 of Shock to the Series. And in this one, we are going to take a look at Mega Man Legends. I have Mega Man 64. I never played the Mega Man Legends version. I played Mega Man 64, and I played mostly through Mega Man Legends 2. I think it was at the point just basically where I had it, and I was playing, and stuff happened, and I ended up losing it or having to sell it or something. But I'm a huge Mega Man fan. I was so happy that Mega Man 11 came out this year. If it hadn't, I'd probably be doing an episode on Mega Man soon, just in general. I will, at some point, be taking a look at, of course, the X series. But right now, we're going to talk about Legends, because Legends is a different animal. It's one of those different titles. You have, of course, Mega Man, you have Mega Man X, you have Mega Man Battle Network, you have Star Force. You've got a lot of Mega Man series that really change the way Mega Man is done in a good way, usually, and this is no exception. It was very different from your typical Mega Man, and it went into a 3D world, and you didn't just have 8 bosses whose weaknesses counteracted each other. No, in this case, the enemy generally was the Bond family, a family of pirates, because you were all searching for treasure. In this case, Mega Man is what's called a digger. Basically, he's digging for treasure. He digs for these refractors that produce energy that power various things on the island, and you sell refractors and you get money. Zenny, Capcom's money of choice. And so you are Mega Man Volnut. You are joined by Roll Gasket and your little monkey Data and your grandpa, Barrel, I believe. And it's all really interesting. It's really different. You still have the basic kind of a pea shooter, Mega Blaster, but you get different special weapons throughout the game. These aren't come from being bosses. You have to actually make these. You find parts while you're digging to make schematics. So you get things like a rocket launcher and homing missiles, and eventually the big one is kind of the shining laser, which is what he actually uses. If you ever played Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, big fighting game, it actually used these Mega Man Volnut and Roll Gasket. No, I think it used Base Roll. Yeah, it used Base Roll, excuse me. But it used Mega Man Volnut. So you had the shining laser. He has a machine gun. He's got a drill special weapon, all of which have various pros and various cons. The shining laser is really powerful, but it doesn't really have a lot of ammunition. The drill has no range, but it's pretty powerful if you can actually get in and use it. And things like that. Like the machine gun is very fast, many ammo weapon, but it doesn't really have a lot of power behind it. And you say, oh, it's a machine, yeah, it's more of kind of a mini Gatling, thing. But yeah, you face the Trons, and you face what in the end the character referenced in the quote, Mega Man Juno. He's the final boss of the first game, and the second game has Mega Man eventually stuck on the moon. He goes up there. Again, I didn't play all the way through, so I've kind of just been gathering bits and pieces over the years. But he's stuck on the moon, basically, or something resembling the moon. And it was basically expected that a Mega Man Legends 3 would come and get him down, because he was stuck at the end of Mega Man Legends 2. Like, he could not come back. So Mega Man Legends 3, the idea was that hopefully it would come out and it would bring this Mega Man back, because a lot of people fell in love with this Mega Man. And this series in general, the Bond family is a source of hilarity. Especially, my favorite's got to be Bon Bon, just because he's so cute. Like, he's this little yellow baby robot, but he's like huge, but he's like this. He's a big baby. And the Servbots are always fun too. Tron Bon and the Servbots are a lot of fun. But unfortunately, Mega Man Legends 3 got canceled despite getting artwork and a ton of fan support. And Capcom, I honestly don't know. They canceled this. They canceled Mega Man, I want to say Ultimate or Unlimited, something like that. It had a claymation commercial, basically. Like, Mega Man came out in this kind of, it almost looked like he belonged on Robot Chicken. It was that claymation kind of weird style. But yeah, they ended up canceling it despite massive fan support, and it really just stinks that we're seemingly never going to get the resolution that we all deserve for Mega Man Legends and Mega Man Volnet. And we've seen actually him come back in like Smash Brothers. You see him mix the other Mega Mans, and so that's always good. And the reason this game resonated with me is because it's actually one of my memories that kind of sticks with me. I was playing Mega Man, so I was playing 64, and I had the N64 in my room as a child, and I was about, let's see, 96, so I was about 11 to 12, give or take, depending on when this came out, possibly 13, I don't know when this came out, but I'm playing it, and my folks have called me for dinner, and I'm on Mega Man Juno. And this was before a lot of bosses that I had faced had secondary forms that I was really thinking about. So you can probably guess from that where this is going. But like I'd played Kirby on the regular Nintendo, and Nightmare, of course, had multiple forms. You had the Moon form, and you had the Nightmare form himself. And, you know, Bowser only had one form. Hadn't really played much else that really had multiple forms. I hadn't gotten to much. In the Mega Man games I had played before this, I never really got to the ends of those, so I never saw multiple forms of Sigma and multiple forms of Wily. So I knew Juno was the final, and he was so tough up until that night that I was like, okay, this has got to be it, because he was destroying me for various parts, and this was one of those. This was when I loved the challenge, and I still do, you know, having to learn and figure out and say, okay, what do I need to do? Just keep away from this guy and get him down. What special weapons work the best, what don't? Because again, the Shining Laser, if it hits, you know, it's pretty powerful, but at the same time, it's not a lot of ammunition. He didn't have a ton of health. I mean, the bar was maybe a quarter of the screen, so not a lot of health. So my folks have called me for dinner. I'm finishing up the fight. I take my last shot. Yes, finally, first time I've done it. I've beaten Mega Man Juno. It's great. And I'm like, coming! And, you know, I'm just waiting for the credits to roll because I wanted to make sure I didn't have to do this fight again. And I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for the credits to roll. It's like, okay, this is going to be some big, long speech, but that's fine. You know, let's just finish the game. Probably some wrap-up. It'll be fine. I'll be down for dinner in a minute. And Juno's head rises up off his body. And I'm sitting there going, like, what is going on in my head? And I'm just watching. It's like, oh, no. What is happening? Do I have to fight the head? Maybe? Like, because, you know, I mean, it's in my mind. It's like, okay, fighting the head. All right, I can deal. All right, that's... And then it rises up higher and higher and gets to the point where it's in front of a wall, and there's this gray little hexagon on the wall. And Juno's head inserts itself kind of into the hexagon and the door, and it's pretty high up at this point. Like, if Mega Man's here, the head's about up here-ish. Then this is the top of Mega Man, by the way. So if he's here, then the top of the robot's, you know, about here, in relativity speaking. And the walls start to part. And at this point, I see this huge robot body that Juno has now attached his head to. And I believe my phrase of utterance was, oh crap, never mind. And I immediately shut the door, sat down, and promptly got trounced. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea that he was coming, and I just got destroyed. And it took a good bit longer after that to figure out how not to die. Like, Juno I could handle. Juno Form 2 I couldn't handle for a bit. It's like, nope. It's not happening. Eventually I did beat it. But that's why I love these games. It's one of those memories that really sticks with me to this day, and I'm so glad for that. And I want them to finish it out. I think, you know, if they were to put it out today, I think it would really get a lot of support, and I think it could be done very well. You know, I mean, yeah, everything was super blocky, so it might be a little weird because you can just see it here. It's just very blocky, but I think it would still look really good, and especially putting it on Switch. And Switch is getting some weird stuff too. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, where did that come from, Nintendo? But I would love to see Mega Man Legends 3, something to finish out the Mega Man Volnut story and just give us the resolution we so want and deserve, in my opinion. But the question comes at this point, are you tired of waiting, or do you still want Mega Man 3? Do you want to go on one more dig, on one more adventure? Post your opinion in the top right as usual. And on the next Shock to the Series, going back to one of the icons that we have already covered, but in a different series, we are looking at, we've looked at an epic adventure, now we're going to look at a magical quest. That's it for this one, guys. That is lights out on Shock to the Series, Mega Man Legends.